Welcome back. Well, as I mentioned, we have Jeff Parker here, who is giving us an exceptional update from the weekend. A lot of stuff happened this weekend.
We had a very good weekend with the vaccination program, and we're here to give you some updates on some numbers. So yeah, busy weekend, but a very successful one from our point of view.
Excellent, excellent. And yeah, so you want to go in with the numbers, which are looking a bit better.
They are trending in the right direction.
That's
what we want to hear, and that's what we want to see. Again, with regards to a lot of tests still out there, 16,000 tests. The two big ones there we always talk about, hospitalizations and ICUs. Finally dropping below 1,500 in hospitalizations and below 400 in ICUs. Both really in good directions. Those are like over 100 drops in just over the weekend that we talked about from Friday.
Right.
The one unfortunate note was that we had 44 deaths, and over the span of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and the whole weekend type thing, over 140 deaths in Orange County. So there are a lot of people unfortunately passing away. So they've gone over the 3,000 mark, unfortunately, in that category. But then again, positive cases down now to 1,355, and of course we saw it when it was 3,000 and 2,000, and so those are all good trends. I know in listening to the CDC and the state, they want to put out the precaution. This is Super Bowl Sunday. A lot of people congregate. That people need to be really careful still, and that's true in the village, because our numbers our cases continue to go up as opposed to seeing a drop down. We were at 327 when I last talked to you. We're now at 341, so we've gone up, and we've had unfortunately three additional deaths. Now this is in the city of Laguna Woods. I don't want to keep saying that. People understand this encompasses the whole community here.
Right.
But again, being diligent and careful out there is so critical. And then the good news that as we are, started our next weekend of the vaccination process, you and I were out there Friday, and I was out there again Sunday. Friday was a little wet, and certainly that put a little bit of a damper on our operations, but we got through it. And Saturday and Sunday, really nice weather, and we started to speed it up to the point where we did over 1,100 vaccinations yesterday.
Wow.
And so that was really, really just at kind of our peak that we could do, and we accomplished that. And so that was really exciting from that perspective.
Well, no, that's great. And I wanted to kind of go back to the numbers we were just talking about when it comes to the reports here, where we talk about the skilled nursing deaths versus resident deaths. We've got people talking about how the vaccine is working to prevent people getting the virus inside the skilled nursing areas and the assisted living.
If they're receiving or have received, because they're one of the earliest ones in, if they're receiving that second shot, then they're getting to the point where they're getting up to the close to that 95% success rate with regards to that being in their systems.
Okay.
If you're an individual who's gotten one shot, then you're a little bit more than 50% covered, but you're not fully covered yet.
Right.
So that second shot is still the most critical to make sure you're getting up to that 95% efficacy rate that they've been talking about. That's really what's important.
Okay, good.
On our, as we know, we're back on the tier structure. We're still in tier 1, the purple tier. The numbers have stabilized there. They were up, you remember the case rate was up in the 80s, and now it's fallen back to the 46. But to get into that red tier, which we want to get to next, we got to get down to 8%. So we still got a ways to go. But it's a positive thing that things are slowing down. The cases of hospitalization are real important to get those down. And now it's just a matter of keeping the cases. I know there's new strains out there that they're talking about, but again, that comes back to being real careful about how you Go out into the community if you have to go out, and be protective of yourself, and still distancing and wearing your mask, and including suggestions by a lot of people to a double mask in some cases.
Yeah,
and
I mean, if
that.
you're in a place where you are having concern, then by all means you certainly can do that. Although many of our residents have an N95, which is certainly okay if you are of the highest risk. I guess that would be in my opinion. So I don't necessarily want to say, oh, that's the best way to do it, but it does seem that that was the one thing that they said most of the workers needed was an N95. So if you happen to have one already, then that can.
It's clearly the best mask out there for
Right.
that was structured and developed for this type of activity. Yesterday at the vaccination, we saw a lot of people that had masks and the shields. You know, there's a combination by our residents, but we ran into only just a few cases where somebody forgot their mask or something like that. Most people came prepared, and it went, like I said, well, having 1,100 people, that was really exciting.
Oh yeah, it was great to see everybody down there on Friday. I mean, I saw a few people who watched the show and they were kind of excited, and I got to meet with a bunch of people. So it was really nice to see how everything went. So why don't we just go ahead and give everybody an update of how it went. I mean, you already said you had a record day yesterday, but there were some other really great things that came out of it.
So one thing I wanted to correct and let people know about is on Friday when I was in here, we talked about the portal that Memorial Care, and unfortunately due to some technology issues, the portal wasn't quite ready yet.
Okay.
And so I know some people saw the show, said, hey, they went looking for the portal and couldn't find it. We're hoping that everything goes smoothly technology-wise today, that tomorrow the portal will be up, and we'll be using that in the future to get people signed up for their vaccine appointments.
Okay.
Again, mentioning the 1,100 was great. I wanted to mention that with regards to the technology issues, the VMS staff working with Memorial Care, we shifted to get enough people down there and make sure that people weren't missing their appointments. We shifted over to our Code Red system that we have in the village.
Yeah.
And that Code Red allowed us to call a big bulk of people on kind of an hourly basis to make sure that they were informed, again, focusing on 75 and over, trying to get the word out, because some people just don't have internet or computer systems. So having the Code Red, they're getting the call specifically and said, hey, if you haven't gotten your appointment yet, or hey, if you haven't gone through Athena and gone to Disneyland or Soka, you can come down right now and we can make available getting you the vaccine. So that kept the flow really well on Sunday. So we were really specific about that. One of the things that we saw that I wanted to mention that we had about a 30% no-show rate. And what we're finding out that's pretty consistent, maybe even a little lower than the national average of no-show. That means people are either denying the shot, which is possible, or they've gotten it somewhere else, which is very possible, because we've run into people say, hey, I already got it, so I don't need to come.
Right.
And so they're not responding to the email. They're just saying, hey, I don't need to go, so I don't go.
Right.
And so we're trying to, that's where the Code Red's going to work effectively in getting those rest of those people connected. So going in the right direction there. Last night, after we wrapped up, Sunday, we closed with over 4,500 residents, 75 and above, being vaccinated over our 2 weekends.
That's great.
And as we talked about, that's about half just of our 75 plus group. So the no-shows, the people that have already been vaccinated, and now we try to finish the rest of the 75 before we move into the 65 plus group.
Okay, perfect. That's great. I mean, that's awesome, that you're halfway through and it's only been 2 weekends. So that's pretty fast.
Yeah, and we were hoping to be in that 3 to 4 weekends. So given the no-shows and, like I said, and people that have already got it somewhere else, hopefully one more big weekend, and we're going to be close to getting our 75 group completed.
That's
and then
awesome.
we can go into the next step, which will be getting people their second shot time frame, because we're coming back on that 28 days with the Moderna, and then coordinating other people who are 65. We really encourage people who are 65 and above to go through the Athena website with the county, because they're going to be actively doing vaccinations during the week, all the time.
Oh, every day?
Yeah, so,
Every day.
So that's a lot faster than our system. And of course, we were really trying to highlight our 75 and older group first and then get into the rest of the community. And we will still do that.
Right, and they are operating at full force. I think Disneyland may have closed on Friday because of the weather. So
'cause they're
Soka was
outdoors.
still open, and as far as I know, I mean, at least I can speak on behalf of Soka, that it is open every day, 7 days a week. And I think they're open at least until 6 o'clock at night.
And that's great because they can handle, you know,
Oh.
4,000 shots in a day.
Yes, they can.
So that's you can just pull that number out. That's certainly more than we can do, but it's a great addition. And they're still working, trying, if they can get more vaccines, to open up more in the county.
Right.
I did want to mention that we're aware of some neighbors who have special needs that are housebound.
Okay.
And if they need to get a vaccination, they're not sure, they can send a message to our info@lagunawoodsvillage.com. And we can get that information, and we're going to try to work with Memorial Care to see how we can arrange house calls down the road. We're taking a look at that, but we need your information. So if you know somebody or are that person in your housebound, get the information to us. Then if we can pull this off, we're going to work on trying to address that issue as well.
Right. Oh, that's great. That's good. I mean, yeah, that would be kind of a concern if you have people who you can't reach for sure. So, like you said, reach out.
One of the things that we noticed on Saturday and Sunday was that because of our age group, and we knew that, we were needing some extra wheelchairs. And so we want to reach out to our residents. If you have a wheelchair you're no longer using and don't need, we will take it for these events. We'll use them at the clubhouse until we're done with the vaccine, and then we'll donate those wheelchairs over to the Florence Sylvester Senior Center.
Okay.
We had probably 6 to 10 wheelchairs of different types yesterday that we were using. They're very effective because people can't stand for that long period of time.
Yeah.
So it was really nice. So if you are a resident or know somebody that has a wheelchair that they don't need, please consider volunteering that into our Clubhouse 7, and we'll use it in the future coming up.
Okay, perfect.
Wanted to mention a couple of key volunteers. So we have a volunteer organization kind of being put together of our residents, and Diane Phelps and Joan Brown have been our leaders in pulling that together and getting all of her key staff people who have volunteered. It's been going great, and I just want to shout out to them on how well they're doing, and we want to continue that and just give them a big thank you for all of the volunteers and the work that they did over the weekend. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So there is one story that we want to hear about that is so exciting for this 100-year-old man.
And got his birthday celebration coming down on Sunday and getting his vaccination. There are a lot of stories like this, but this one's really special in the sense that it was, again, the 100th birthday, and able to get down here and get his vaccine, and showed his appreciation, and the family showed their appreciation. It was really great. And we had a number of those stories. And I know you were down there on Friday and heard some of them.
Right.
But the gratitude of our residents has just been kind of overwhelming. And so just wanted to mention a couple of them, donations that we received to Memorial Care, a $500 donation that an individual gave us to provide for water and snacks. So we've just been inundated with that, and we so much appreciate it.
Oh, that's great. I mean, you guys are doing a wonderful job down there, and thanks, of course, to all the volunteers through Memorial Care as well as here in the village. And it's been it's taking a village, and they're coming. They are rising to the occasion.
Yep.
So that's great.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you again on Friday.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. And when we come back, we're going to tell you a little bit about the vaccination distribution program that happened on Friday. And we're going to start out with a interview with Kevin Davidson, who is the VP of Development for Memorial Care. So stay tuned.